Last time on Transformers, Optimus Prime sold his soul to the devil, better known to humanity as Michael Bay, in exchange for 3 hit movies, a shitload of cash, and a newfound popularity in the public eye. But little did he know that the movies would only get worse and worse, leading his audience to an ungodly amount of boredom and stupidity. Still popular and still rich, Prime finds himself hanging on to little dignity and street cred. To make things worse, Bay has lost his connection with the geek community due to rumored changes to the Ninja Turtles franchise. So Prime has been sent out to rebuild the hype for Transformers 4, Explosion of the Boobs. He has been sent to Anime St. Louis with his agent to recruit extras for his next movie.
Greetings, humanity. I am Optimus Prime. Who wants to see explosion? Who wants to see giant robots? Who wants to see racial stereotypes exploited to an embarrassing degree? Who wants to see hot ladies insultingly objectified with no identifiable intelligence or personality? Really? Even the women cheered that one? Well, who wants to see Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah.
Alright, there's some hope for you yet. Well, we're having auditions for Transformers 4 and...
The auditions did not go well.
No.
Well, he's no Shia LaBeouf, but he might be able to pull off Carrot Top.
No, you're trying to think. Bay doesn't like that. Just drape yourself over a car and look hot. What? You showed up to a Michael Bay audition and you didn't bring a car to drape yourself over? Well, surely you have a motorcycle in your pocket that you can press your breast against. Next! Alright, you're the sassy best friend. Christ, Jerry, did you see the look on their faces when I mentioned the movie? All that misguided optimism. It's like telling a blind kid they're gonna pet a bunny when really it's a porcupine.
Look, the product sells, and you're still popular.
So is Jersey Shore.
Your last film grossed $1,123,000,000 worldwide.
But at what cost, Jerry? At what cost?
I told you, $1,123,000,000 worldwide. Now get some sleep. We got more auditions to get through. I'm gonna go do coke off a prostitute who's also doing coke in a hot tub.
That's not physically possible.
I'll find a way.
It wasn't always like this. I used to have credibility, dignity, a hit show that brought joy to millions of children around the world, and not just horny, mentally castrated teenagers. These were the days of the original Transformer cartoon.
Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Oh, it was violent, and the writing wasn't exactly Shakespeare. But we had a connection to our young audience, an exciting connection that, while not deep or complex per se, supplied an onslaught of creativity, simple fun, and exciting adventure. You may mock its corniness at times, but I assure you, there is more here than Michael Bay has ever put in his perverted sequels. Don't believe me? Well then allow Optimus Prime to show you. The first episode, entitled More Than Meets the Eye, gave us the backstory on our proud history.
On the planet Cybertron, intelligent robots that could think and feel inhabited the cities. They were called Autobots and Decepticons. But the brutal Decepticons were driven by a single goal: total domination.
In hindsight, we probably should have seen that coming. I mean, they were called Decepticons. Kind of obvious. But we were declaring war at the time on the Trustworthians. That was probably stupid too. We see 2 Autobots, Wheeljack and Bumblebee, ride through a pretty deserted Cybertron until they come across the Decepticons.
After them!
Like most Transformers, they brilliantly set their guns to shoot everything around the target except the target. We feel that gave the opponent a fighting chance.
Any luck, Jazz?
Negative.
The side of Cybertron's blacker than the inside of a drive shaft.
I'm still not sure why we hired Bill Cosby to do jazz.
You see, the thing about the Decepticons is that they're very deceitful. So while we talk about our plans to find a new energy source, a metal bird named Laserbeak might be listening to us right now.
Sure enough, the Decepticons, led by Megatron, are given the information by Laserbeak and his master Soundwave.
Autobots are set to launch Megatron.
As are we. The Autobots would have lost eons ago if I'd been calling the shots.
Starscream. Only a select few ever leave.
My time will come, Megatron.
Never! Prepare to blast off!
Now you might be wondering why a guy who clearly just stated he's going to betray him would be allowed to be kept in. Because he makes great cookies.
Starscream cookies are more than meets the icing!
You're wrong, Starscream!
I'm always wrong!
So, while we proud Autobots try to leave Cybertron for a new energy source, the Decepticons attack, thus losing control, leading us to crash on the planet known as Earth. This doesn't put our incredible technologically advanced bodies out of commission for long. Just 4 million years. What do you want? Our boot-up system was Windows 7. I'm surprised we woke up this fast. The Decepticons woke first and tried to destroy our remains while looking for new sources of energy. They do this to still try and take control of Cybertron, which I'm sure is exactly the same right after we left. 4 million years? Nothing much happens in that time. But we escaped and spread out, thus locating the Decepticons trying to find a way to harness energy.
I will plunder Earth and steal its precious resources. By leading us to this planet, the Autobots have sealed their own doom.
Cliffjumper, what are you doing?
I've got Megatron dead center in my viewfinder.
It should be noted that the term dead center in my viewfinder is an Autobot phrase meaning slightly to the left, but I'm going to shoot anyway. We Autobots are proud of that phrase. But they did manage to work their way back to the Autobots and tell us of the Decepticons' evil plans. We of course leapt into action.
Organize a battle unit. We're going after them. Pow! Jailbreaker!
Admit it, you could hear that sound effect for hours. If you could choose the sound of your orgasm, it would be that sound and you know it.
Yes! 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 Oh! Oh! Oh!
Of course, it is made better by the calling out of our awesome names.
Jailbreaker! Wheeljack! Ironhide! Mirage! Sunstreaker! Sideswipe!
Little known fact, here are some of the other kick-ass names that were not used for other Transformers. Cold Iron, Metal Stab, Violent Speed, Dick Thrust, Nut Jab, Jesus Punch, Bill, and Tit Tackler. I'm particularly sad that one didn't make it in. So the Decepticons tried to steal the energy from an oil drill where a kid named Spike and his father Sparkplug, God, I thought our names were weird, noticed the attack.
Look! Up there! What is it?
What are they?
But thankfully, they used their brilliant human ingenuity and fight them off the best way they know how. Throwing things.
Hit him with a rock!
Stop! Let go of my dad!
Wow. I forgot how embarrassing that scene was for him. He gave you like a solid second look of shame and then swat you like a mosquito.
Let go of my dad!
Fuck you, asshole.
I am now convinced that if Spike was an Autobot, his Transformer name would be Pussy Pillow. A name of great shame, to say the least. So we Autobots come in to save Sparkplug and Pussy Pillow when Megatron suddenly transforms into the Duck Hunt gun.
Have a nice swim!
Luckily, only 2 people were on that oil rig. Well, that's the story we're going with if we want continued children's programming syndication. And we save them just in time for part 2 of the story arc. This begins with Spike writing like a girl in his journal describing his predicament.
The Autobots are a highly advanced form of robot. I don't really know if they're from the past or the future, but they can think and have real feelings.
If Michael Bay were here right now, he'd have 2 annoying parents come in not knowing how to react when you eat a pop brownie.
Spike here wants to know how we transform, Hound.
Easy, like this.
What other tricks can you do?
Try this one, Spike. Now you see me? Now you don't. Over here!
Now, of course, you might be asking yourself why the hell we don't just use that technique about a bajillion other times in the show. Well, I think the real question is, how can Soundwave transform from a handheld tape deck into a 2-story monstrosity? We Autobots proudly honor the code of equal value proportions. Except for the cargo I'm carrying as a truck that seems to disappear and reappear at will. You may also be wondering what I'm carrying inside that cargo that's so important to constantly keep around. Well, I'll tell you. Starscream cookies.
And the sprinkles on top are simply to die for!
Starscream!
Oh, just let me cook, bitch!
Spike discovers, however, that Soundwave has snuck in, and thus he pushes the alarm that is in no way labeled alarm, smart kid, which forces him to leave his Thundercat Ravage behind.
We got him.
Hey, you up yet?
Oh no, my agent can't know I'm bad-mouthing the movie and praising the other show as better.
The Transformers will return after these messages. We now return to the Transformers.
I must use my powers of disguise to blend in. Autobot, transform!
Aw, gee. I wonder where he could be. He's such a master of camouflage. He could be anywhere. So he's obviously this lamp. Transform. Come on, transform. All right. Well, if you're in here, just be downstairs in a little bit.
Anyway, so Ravage is captured, but we figure out the Decepticons are gonna try and get more energy from a dam.
Soundwave, prepare the Energon cubes.
So as you can see, they're being attacked by Cubans. Oh, come on, that joke killed on Cybertron. So Starscream uses one of his deadliest weapons, a slingshot. Wow, I think the only thing we did make a toy out of was the actual toy. Which of course upsets Megatron.
You fool, Starscream! Help save the Energon cubes! Get them out of here!
You're old, Megatron. Yesterday's model. Junk! That's what you are. Junk!
Whoa, did I really just use the J word? That's why you suck. Die! The Autobots come to my aid, as well as, big shock, Pussy Pillow here.
Easy, Spike.
Oh dear. Oh, I should have caught that. Yes, that looks very suggestive. Yeah, we're not doing the children's syndication route without that scene being edited. I am deeply ashamed. Though oddly enough, playing that isn't helping. Meanwhile, Starscream and Megatron bitch at each other again like a senile couple. I never did understand why he didn't just propose.
Testing the Energon cubes! They work!
Of course they work!
You didn't know. You never tested them. I proved it.
You only proved your defective mentality! You've set us back!
Not even his cookies can get him out of this one.
With just a dash of
Starscream! Wow, that was dark. The Decepticons tried to get energy from a mine shaft, but luckily we were there to stop them again. Unfortunately, they buried us under a ton of debris, but we escaped without a scratch on us or the humans. So, just to reiterate, being crushed by a ton of rocks, no problem at all. Crashing the ship into a volcano, 4 million year recovery. It is important to know this, if not, it would sound incredibly stupid. This leads to our conclusion in part 3. Here, we get the idea to fool Ravage into thinking we've revealed our plan and let him go, only to plan a trap to capture the Decepticons. But they didn't fall for it because we're really bad actors.
He told me Teletran 1's located a secret supply of rocket fuel.
Where?
Not too far from here, about 140 kilometers due west. Why, there's enough rocket fuel at that base to make 4 trips to Cybertron.
Can't believe he went to the actor's studio.
Right on schedule, aren't we?
No thanks to you, Starscream.
This is why our marriage counselor says we're never going to grow as a couple.
You've also made clear your desire to replace me as leader of the Decepticons. Mistake number 1.
Now, of course, if I was leading, I would shoot the bastard and not wait for mistake number 2. Hey, look, mistake number 2.
It's empty!
Now it's my turn!
Megatron! Megatron!
We attack the rocket base at sunrise!
And yet, he still lets him stay. You know, I'm aware of the phrase, keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer. Me, personally, I'm a fan of keep your friends close and kill the son of a bitch who's been betraying you every single chance he gets. It is the Autobot way. So the Decepticons use our trap and turn it into a trap on us, pulling off a deceptive con, if you will. Seriously, I don't know how we didn't put together they were going to be the bad guys with that name. I mean, I'm so embarrassed. They use this time to get enough energy to head back to Cybertron while we prepare to make our final stand.
Space cruiser fueled and ready for departure. Prepare for blastoff!
You know, it just hit me. Am I the only one who realizes that Soundwave does all the work? And yet we know so little about him. I mean, doesn't someone with that intelligence and passion have any dreams?
Soundwave, ready the army!
No, I am tired of doing all the work and having no personality. I want a story arc, something that gives me depth. I want a romance, yes, a romantic comedy, perhaps a relationship with the Toaster. The Toaster can be stuck up and high class. I will be quirky and getting into all sorts of antics. At first she doesn't like me, but then she admires my silly charm. We get to know each other better, but then she discovers I was keeping a secret the whole time. I tried to explain I held this secret because I love her, but she is too emotional and filled with hate, so she decides to marry this snob. A real uptight guy with no funny lines. She is about to be wed at the altar, but then I come stumbling in after going through some sort of comedic chase. I plead myself to her, and at first, it looks like she's not buying it, but then her eyes tear up, she turns around, gives me a hug, the snobby groom is angry, but then my comedic sidekick comes in and punches him, the crowd cheers. I tell the Toaster I love her, she says she loves me, we decide to get married but we do not show it on screen because 2 weddings would just be repetitive, so we end with kind of an open ending, something like we're driving a convertible into the sunset or something. This leaves it open for a sequel. I want to be played by Zac Efron and Natalie Portman as the Toaster. There is a bit of an age difference, but I think she looks young enough she can pull it off. Disney has shown interest. Gary Marshall is attached to direct. It will be called Soundwaves of the Heart. It will be rated PG-13 for crude humor and adult situations, but nothing too bad. Just enough to let the male demographic know that it's edgy and will have some gross-out humor for them. And the female demographic will instantly be drawn to the toaster. They will be able to imagine themselves inserted into the role. It will be released in summer, preferably over a holiday weekend. It will break records, win awards. It will be the sleeper hit of the year.
No!
Damn it.
So we have our epic battle, but it appears Megatron still gets away. Or does he?
Total victory is within my grasp.
Not yours, Megatron!
I see that you have learned nothing, Starscream.
He learned nothing. If there was a book about how to learn nothing, your picture would be on the back of it. I can't believe we lost Cybertron to these bozos.
And my time is now!
But one of our Autobots sneaks aboard and sets the ship to fly into the ocean, sinking them into the very depths.
Ready, Spike? It's almost time to blast off.
I'll be right there, Prime. One more thing. I sure am glad we don't have to worry about Megatron and all those Decepticons anymore.
Yeah, you may want to put a ... after that, kid. Ah, yes. That was the story arc of the Mighty Autobots. You know, it's a touch sillier than I remember it. I suppose, looking back, it's not quite as grand as I remember. Sure, there wasn't much emphasis on characters. Sure, the stories were pretty repetitive. And sure, we were just as focused on advertising as any other show. But you know what? We still created something all our own. Our designs were creative, our episodes action-packed, every second filled with energy and excitement. We knew how to make our audiences happy, and we did it well. It may not be the best show, but it was a show that knew what it was and who it was trying to entertain. And it tried hard every second it could to give you that action-packed entertainment that you all loved. Which is why I ask all of you gathered here today, in this world of remakes, sequels, and emphasis on special effects, who the fuck just wants to watch some Transformers cartoons? Hell fucking yeah.
Yes! Yes! Oh! Oh!